Halo games?
I think each Halo game has certainly evolved, not only in-game and the gameplay features, but the way we approach and create games at the studio. I mean, with each game, our teams have gotten larger, our features have gotten more complex, there's just more content to build, and each game becomes more and more ambitious. And Reach, is being the biggest Halo game yet, and the most ambitious game yet, has definitely required us to build games differently. And I think learning how to do pre-production better and having a great plan up front and having a strong vision and having the whole team working together collectively towards one common goal that we all understand from the beginning is something that certainly wasn't the case at the start of Halo 2, for example. So I think at the end of every project, there's always a point where Bungie looks back on what went well and what didn't go well and what could be improved upon. And you hope that with each successive game, you get better at and more efficient in how you build that. Yeah, well, I think Niles should certainly speak to this too, but I think pre-production is just the biggest example that I've had awareness of, and just looking back at Halo 1 and Halo 2, and less so in Halo 3, but back then it was really about Bungie's way to just sort of by brute force and sheer willpower just try and force the game into happening and cram all these great ideas into something that would end up in a box on a disc. And as the team grew and as the projects became more ambitious, it just became more and more challenging to do that. And I think we've been pretty open in how we've discussed Halo 2 and sort of the pains that we had to endure and the learnings from that, and essentially having to start over midway through the project because just the plans were going astray and it wasn't going to work out as we had envisioned. But with Halo 3 more so in Reach, everything from the very beginning was well thought out. Enough time was spent by the team, the leads, to have a really solid plan of sort of here's the big feature points, here's the big mission arcs, here's the content we're going to need to build, here's the technology that we're going to have to invest in. And everyone, by the time the whole team really came to speed and started working hard and in earnest on Reach, everyone knew exactly what we were doing, how we were going to get there, and everybody had confidence that was going to work. Well, Halo 3, yeah, absolutely. We still had we did have more pre-production and more planning in Halo 3 than we did in Halo 2, and with Reach it was even more so. But like even at the beginning of Reach, part of pre-production is not only defining what is Reach going to be, what are we going to do going forward, but let's look at what we just did and let's make sure that we're learning from that and figuring out ways to be more efficient internally and to make the best possible product. So it's looking back and looking forward at the same time.
That's good. That pretty much sums up. I mean, Brian's right in that, and it is absolutely true that with Halo Reach, it was sort of the smoothest project, and that's not to say everything was easy. We obviously put a lot of time into the game, and it was very difficult in that. But at the same time, the game's pretty feature-rich. But I really feel like with Halo Reach, even when we started, we all sort of started on the same page. We all had the same vision for what we really wanted to pull off with this game, and it definitely shows more than any previous Halo game.
And an example of something that we look back on that worked great for Halo 3 that we had to do again for Reach was the multiplayer beta. I mean, for Halo 3, it was like 800,000 plus people were part of that. It was something that we had to do because we had all these new features like Forge and save films and file sharing, and certainly without that beta, Halo 3 would not have been the complete experience that we were ultimately able to produce, and with Reach even more so. So we knew no matter what, from the very beginning, we have to have a multiplayer beta for Reach, and we have to push these systems even further. So that was something that we just learned through experience, and it's hard to imagine not doing that ever again because the beta was just so valuable for us. I'll let Niles start first.
Thanks. I mean, obviously, it's mixed emotions for us. We're both we're really happy and excited for us. We're really excited to see people's reaction to Reach. We still have yet to see the best part of the project of any project we've done. The best part's always when we get to actually release it, and we get to see people's reactions to the game, and even more so with Reach, because with things like Forge, 4 2.0 and firefight customization, we get to see what people actually come up with. And in many ways, we're going to be experiencing a lot of Reach for the first time after it's released. But of course, at the same time, this is our last Halo game, and we're moving on to newer things. And it's a little bit sad to see not be able to work on Halo anymore, because we are such big fans of even ourselves. But at the same time, it's exciting. Who knows what the future is going to bring? We still have to figure a lot of things out, but the future's bright for us. So yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Most of the team, I think, it's an equal split of definitely exciting to know that we feel like we've made the best Halo game yet, and we're going to go out with a bang, and we're going to give our fans something that we think is going to be really special and that we can all be proud of. But it's also going to be really great to sort of spread our wings, and people that have spent almost 12, 13 years of their lives working in this universe have a chance now to face a whole new set of challenges and try something totally different, and see if we can do it again and create something special for the next 10 years. But I think in a couple months it'll probably sink in that we're not going to touch Halo again, and probably be a little bit sad too. Well, I can't really tell you anything about our new project. I'll just tell you that philosophically, the way Bungie approaches all of our game projects, even dating back to to Marathon, is first and foremost trying to come up with a universe that we think is interesting and that people want to spend time in, and that we can tell great stories in and deliver great game experiences in. So we're approaching our next 10 years kind of like we did the last 10 years with Halo. We're going to be building a whole new universe, and we have a plan to tell a lot of great stories and really deliver some really interesting, great game experiences, and hopefully redefine gaming for the next decade. So I can't tell you much more than that, other than just our new action game universe, and it's going to be something totally different, totally awesome, and we'll have more to say about it later. Well, one of our goals also, in addition to just moving into a new world and a new IP, is that we want to be able to share this new world and these new stories with an even larger audience. So our intention is definitely to develop our project for multiple platforms.
Yes, definitely still a designer. I mean, obviously I'll be contributing in certain very similar ways, and very shortly we will be transitioning on to that work. So yeah, and you'll be giving interviews.
Yeah, and we'll be back here again someday.
yeah, someday.
I think you'll probably see a Brute or two in campaign, but just remember that at this point in the fiction, the Brutes are very different role than they did by the time we played Halo 3. The elites are still in charge, so the Brutes are sort of more kind of the brute force, strong arm, send them out there, the enforcers, if you will. But really, Reach's combat is more focused on the elites, obviously, this time around. They're the primary foe.
Okay.
Oh no, the Brute.
No.
I think once the Brutes kind of became not the primary sort of antagonist in the sandbox, some of that stuff went away. So there's no Brute Chopper in Reach.
Okay. Drones of Halo 3 ODST and
You haven't, have you?
Haven't seen what?
Drones, buggers?
Are they in the game?
Possibly. They're not in Firefight.
Okay. Not in Firefight?
There's no buggers in Firefight.
Good?
Well, I think, hearing Lars talk about it, he's our cooperative multiplayer design lead. He and his crew have been working on Firefight for a while. I believe that a lot of people just didn't really enjoy having buggers in Firefight. That most people seem to have a negative experience with buggers. So Lars and his team made the decision that it's probably best not to have them. Honestly, I don't really miss them when I play. I think, if you want something that's kind of hard to hit, that moves very fast, the skirmishers fill that role really well, and they're a little easier and more fun to fight against than the buggers were at times.